There's no way to sugarcoat the abuse crisis in our church. Unfortunately, some people find themselves in a state of denial, and I've heard a lot of excuses as to why we shouldn't talk about or protest the corruption in our church. So the first part is the excuses. People will say, it was a psychology of the time to just move predator priests from parish to parish in hopes that their predatory behavior would cease in a different environment. And they will also say most of the abuse was over 50 years ago. And then you move on to the rationalization, like, our church has always had periods of corruption, and this is no different. I'm really disappointed by the apathy surrounding this situation. People will say, we shouldn't criticize the church leaders. It's up to them to decide what to do with this crisis. And I'm going to say that I read sections from Bishop Barron's book, and it seems like no one wants to take responsibility. Bishops do not want to take responsibility. Cardinals don't want to take responsibility. And they're trying to push this off to the lay people. And obviously that's disappointing, but at the same time it should be extremely concerning to you if you're a lay person, because no one wants to deal with this. But we have to deal with it. This is our time in church history. Imagine if countless others hadn't stood up for the faith, the martyrs of the first century church. Imagine if they had just rationalized their faith and said, well, we'll wait until Christianity is legal again to practice our faith. Then our faith would have died out. Right now, metaphorically speaking, our church is like a burning building, and we're standing on the side watching it burn. We have several options. We can call up a friend and say, wow, this is so bad. That's what we do if we complain about these problems and don't do anything about it. We could call the fire department. We could call 911, and the fire department is represented by the bishops. They're either not responding or they come to the fire and they take buckets of gasoline and throw it on the fire. Right now, that's what some bishops and cardinals are doing by continuing the cover-up. Or we can work by ourselves, get a bucket of water and try throwing it on the burning building. Yeah, it might help a little bit, but it's not going to do a whole lot if we write letters by ourselves or protest by ourselves. What we need to do is get together collectively. We need to come up with ideas. We need to think outside the box. Maybe call someone next to the fire department, ask them to grab the fire hose, form a chain of people where we hand it off to the assembly line of people, extend the fire hose the whole way, fill it up with water from a river or something, and pour it on the burning building. Collectively, we need to come up with some ideas, and one way to do that is the St. Joseph's Battalion. I've been encouraging people to join it. And if you are watching this video, every single person watching this video, I hope you consider joining the St. Joseph's Battalion, because this is your crisis, this is my crisis, and we have to deal with it. We're not dealing with the Reformation, we're not dealing with the heresy of Albigensianism. Right now we're dealing with the modernist crisis of 2019, we're dealing with the sexual assault cover-up of 2019, and each of us need to come together as a group and protest collectively against the corruption network. Something that's also very encouraging is 50,000 people praying the 54-day novena started by Father Richard Heilman. These are the actions that are going to lead our church to a better future, and I might not live to see it, you might not live to see it, but I sure wouldn't want to die knowing that I did nothing. I sat on my hands and did nothing to improve the future of the church for future generations. I know the humble holy laity, started by Thomas the Hermit, they're dedicating some time to prayer. So join these prayer movements, join the St. Joseph's Battalion, help us improve the future of our church.